Welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and do the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of August 2025. If you're new here, welcome aboard. If you're not, welcome back, as always. We're going to go ahead and just see what's going to take place from now until 30 days later. If you like the content that you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And additionally, if you would like a personal, well, no, we don't do personal readings. No, scratch that. If you see anyone trying to get personal readings out of you who impersonates this channel, you know what to do. Block, report, hunt them down, and that's it. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get started. All of the astrological transits, I may just make passing mentions of them throughout this reading, but other than that, you can look to some of the initial readings throughout this week to find out what's taking place within the heavens at this moment. So, Leo, we're not going to waste any time. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot to talk a little bit about your reading and the rest of everyone else's reading. It's a very nice step. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of August 2025. It's taking place from now until 30 days after. It's taking place with Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising from now until 30 days later. It's taking place in Leo's life, Sun, Moon, and Rising from now until 30 days later. All right, Leo, let's do this. Current energy. What is the challenge? What happened in the recent past? Happening in the near future. It's taking place at the core of Leo's life. What's at the crown of Leo's life? Okay. Good one. And what is the likely outcome for this period? All right. So, clarify that actually. Clarify the outcome. Okay. So, we have at the bottom, we have the Nine of Wands. And what this is talking about, you are at a period in which you are exhausted, tired, a bit taken aback by all of the responsibilities that you've taken on. And additionally, you feel like giving up, but you're trying to make that one extra and final push towards reaching a goal that you have set in mind. For this particular period, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's coming in because it's what you have at the bottom of the deck, and that's what you don't see coming. So you're about to undergo a significant trial and actually try to, work towards something that is very important to you. And additionally, maybe you have been undergoing a period that has been quite stressful and challenging, which has required a lot of your energy at, this particular time. So we're going to find out what that is. We're going to look a bit further into the insights that the tarot is telling us today. What we have firstly, we have the moon in the reverse. And what this is talking about something coming to light, something being revealed to you. And what is the moon in reverse about? So, one of the things that's stressing you out, Leo, is the fact that you find that people are not necessarily working with you or collaborating with you. you find it very difficult for people to work with you in a professional sense because these are pentacles, and you do have other evidence of pentacles surrounding your reading at this time. So we look at a time in which you are revealing the challenges that have been posed to you by people being uncooperative or not being able to find the right support for this goal that you have set in mind. And the challenge here is being able to balance everything out so that way you can have the resources, you can adapt to the changes taking place in your life, and also, find ways to strategically overcome difficulties and hurdles. This is a minor arcana card, so it's a card that talks about the challenges of everyday life, not necessarily something that's been like a major change within, what's taken place with you. Now, the moon is a major arcana, so that could be more of an unveiling of the pathway forward. Sometimes you may be in a hazy or a murky period of your life, but in order to make the progress forward, you have to use that intuition, that third eye knowledge, and then use that to push through the obstacles that have been placed before you. Now, in the recent past, what we have here is the Two of Cups in the reverse, and this does insinuate that you have been detached from something. It could be a love relationship, but it could be anything in which you are united initially. What is this about? So, it's the Two of Cups in the reverse, clarified by the Two of Swords. So, again, there are lots of twos here. So we have the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, the Two of Swords. This is about a major decision that you want to make regarding your life path forward. I don't think this has been a very easy decision, but due to the nature of a lot of the twos here, the only two that we have missing is the Two of Wands, which is the planning process. So this shows that we are in a period or a state of indecision about something we want to go forward with in our lives. So, however, the good news is that in the near future, you have the Emperor, which is Aries energy. So if you have Aries in your chart, this would be a very significant reading for you. We talk about the Emperor as being kind of like, we have this sun in the background, and we have this very tall tree. So the Emperor is making its way towards building foundation and then rising to the top from that. That's what the tree does. It starts out as a seed, germinates, and then its roots, its foundation, gives it the nurturing and the sustenance that it needs to become that tall tree. And over the years, we can notice too that in this deck, we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is actually showing the inside of that tree, which is the Emperor. And it shows the wisdom and the intelligence that it has built up over the years of trial and error, of growth, development, and restructuring. So, in essence, I see the Ace of Pentacles as being kind of a part that the Emperor gives to everyone else, because it is that inner part of the tree which shows the wealth and which shows the value that the Emperor has. As that tree grows, it is wealth and abundance. It's the complement to the Empress, which is wealth and abundance, incarnate in many ways, and the creativity needed to actually, bring that into fruition. So, Empress is number 3, and then the Emperor is number 4, of course. So that means that the Empress comes before the Emperor. She is the creativity and the gestation period. The Emperor is the stability of that energy, of that inner power that people have in order to manifest their goals and their abundance within their life. So at the very core of yourself, you have the Seven of Swords. This is talking a lot about, this is the Eight of Swords. And I talk a lot about butterfly medicine here. So the butterfly starts out as a caterpillar or a worm, if you want to call it that, but it goes into a state of suspension. So this is almost similar to the hangman. And what it's doing is it's becoming a kind of gelatin, and it liquefies its body and then becomes the butterfly after it reintegrates itself. So this is what I like to look at as shadow work. The butterfly represents the death phase, going inward and then becoming something new. And I think that this is a process to you that scares you, because this is the Eight of Swords. And I find it oddly amusing that you have Two of Pentacles here, which is another butterfly card. And then after that, you have the Eight of Swords, which also talks a lot about the process needed to be able to become more adaptive. And butterflies do represent that adaptability. They represent being lighthearted in the face of difficulties and struggles, because they have gone through the death process. And then after that, they emerge from their chrysalis, and then they go into a period where they're light, airy, and able to move with the wind. And so, in many respects, that is the process that you're undergoing. And, with these Eight of Swords surrounding it, the chrysalis here is attached to one sword. So you have the Seven of Swords around you, and then you're attached to the Eighth Sword. And what this kind of looks like to me is that maybe you have felt that because of this lack of support, or this inability to find the support networks needed to get to your goal, to accomplish something, you have felt that you have needed to kind of shut yourself down. And you're using that period of shutdown to actually gain that new period of enlightenment. This is very similar to the Four of Swords, where the person has the Three of Swords hanging above them, and then after that they are laying beneath the Fourth Sword, which has given them clarity on the heartbreak that they've received in the past. So in this is hanging above. So it's almost like this is hanging above your head, or it's hanging over your head. The kind of difficulties that you've had to face in the past due to either unscrupulous people, representative of the Seven of Swords. However, the Seven of Swords can also be that strategy that you need to cultivate in order to move forward and find the plan to get to your destination. Now, in the past, again, we did have the Two of Swords, which is the indecision, and this is now you in that period of indecision, which is representative of your core nature. The reason we say this is because this is what you know to be true. You have multiple things within your life that allow you to become the stable, independent emperor, which you'll be moving into as your energy, in the near future. So as a Leo, it's up to you to take control of a situation and then actually build that fixed solar energy, which is going to allow you to become this emperor. So we have the sun here, we have the sun eclipsed here in the Two of Swords. That sun, that Leo energy, is now going to build you into the emperor. So rather than going from your negative kind of like stubborn mentality, you will go into something that is able to kind of, act as a conductor for all of the things that you want to achieve later on. So the Ten of Pentacles here, this represents many things. It can represent a lot of money, abundance, but it can also represent family life and the legacy that you want to leave. And Leos, this is very important to you because, your outward, not your ego, but kind of like your appearance to the rest of the world is going to be tantamount to how you see your success and how you feel validated in the world. And for you, maybe you feel as if, I don't know why I'm getting this phrase, but maybe you feel some kind of imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you'll be able to be up to the challenge of this new phase of your life and this transformation that you do have to undergo. But what is important for you to know is that you can do it as long as you receive the insight and then act upon it. So it's kind of similar to the Hangman. Again, when I say the Hangman from this card, and I keep referencing this card, what you'll be doing is having a brief period of reflection that is going to allow you to then come into a new and better period that will help reach this Ten of Pentacles. And the reason why I say this is because in the final outcome, what we have here, we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse, clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. You're going to be busy, absolutely busy. Once you finally receive the insight that you need, you're going to then have to move into that energy. And the Knight of Pentacles is slow and methodical, but it will accomplish that goal. So how do we apply this to a variable situation? So this is like the control of a scientific experiment. This is what we know is to be true, the algorithm that is going to take place. And typically when I give these types of readings, they act and serve as an algorithm to variables that are taking place in your life. Scientifically speaking, this would apply to a scenario, a situation that deviates from person to person. It like varies from person to person. So in my life, if I was a Leo, or if I had any Leo in my chart, which I don't, I would actually say like this would relate to getting out of my head and, finding a new job or finding like a new partner or something like that. In another person's life, it might be about defending their position as a CEO in a company. In another person's life, it might relate to going within and finding a bit more of your spiritual side. So what I try to tell people is like, it may resonate, but this is merely an algorithm that goes into each individual Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising's reading. So if it relates to your home life, if it relates to your family life, if it relates to your work or any of that, then it would apply accordingly. So this is the control, and then the variable is you. And I may stress this more so throughout my readings, so that way people can understand how this resonates when they reflect on themselves. So that said, we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse with the Knight of Pentacles in the upright. In order for you to make the progress that you really want, you're going to need to start to learn new methodologies and apply them in a very controlled and scientific manner. Look at what's going on in your life, and in order to overcome the fear of moving forward, you have to know where the steps are. So if you're climbing a mountain, for example, you don't just run up the mountain and then hope for the best, because you could trip on something and then you fall all the way back down. However, in this particular case, like a Capricorn would do it, which is one who masters this capability, you would take one step, you'd find your footing in another step, you find your footing in another step, like anyone that is a mountain climber. And once you do this, you are aware where to take your steps. You're aware where to move to the next part of your journey. And I think this is what that insinuates. With the King of Pentacles in the reverse, it just shows a time of being very busy and not necessarily a time of being scattered and disorganized. And maybe it could serve as a warning where you have to, in order to avoid stepping into that aspect of the King of Pentacles in the reverse, you would need to plan and plod methodically, so that way you know exactly where you want to go in the next phase of your journey. So I'm going to quickly pull a card from the Oracle deck. So this is the Moonology Oracle, favored amongst many in the tarot community. What's the advice for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising? What's the advice for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of August 2025? Okay, so there we go. And this talks a lot about what we have just been speaking about the whole time. So, believe in the impossible. And what this tells us is that in order for us to achieve that Ten of Pentacles, that legacy that we want to build and develop for the ages, we need to believe in ourselves a bit more. Now, confidence is key. I feel like I want to get that message in there. For some reason, I don't know what. That is actually the full moon in Leo card, I believe, here in this deck. But in order to achieve this goal, you need to have confidence and faith in yourself. Everyone does. Doesn't matter what your sign is. And I believe that for you, this is especially important because your self-image reflects outwardly, just like the sun, which is your planet. And then it shows you how far your reach is in achieving your goal. So if you want to start a business, if you want to buy a home, if you want to learn a new skill, if you want to pass a certain exam, find a way that methodically allows you to reach your goal. For example, if you wanted to study to pass like the bar exam or something like that, or if you wanted to pass like an IELTS exam, if you're learning a different, if you're trying to learn English, which this is a hypothetical situation. I don't know why I'm saying that, but instead of trying to ingest a lot of information at once, perhaps you could use what they call the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro is the Italian for tomato, and I don't know why they call it that, but maybe it's the tomato timer that they use, which you set 5 minutes to learn a specific thing, ingest that, and then later on set another 5-minute timer, and that allows you to ingest more information. So it's small bites over an extended period of time rather than one large bite, and then you forget all of the rest of the information that you've internalized. So that's what I'll do. I'll leave it at that, and hopefully this has been of some help to you. But thanks again. This is Aluminum Tarot. Again, if you like what you hear on this channel, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates. And furthermore, I will be getting my microphone. It's going to be a blue Nessie, which I think is going to be very exciting to have because I've heard very good things about it. It's quite a legacy microphone, but I do kind of like the older style of mics, which will have a very good kind of specification to it to help out with the sound quality of these readings. So stay tuned for that, and once that's up and running, I'll hopefully have a better and newer setup for everything for this channel. And I'm always looking forward to ways to kind of improve what I'm doing and the setup itself. I don't want anything too flashy like music and other stuff, but at least so that you can hear and see me in a better way than it currently is at this moment, because it's basically ripped right off the microphone from my smartphone. So anyways, that's gonna leave it at that. Thank you so very much, and until next time, love and light. Thank you for joining.